Hey everyone, in this video we're going to take a look at another short Latin story. This one's called The Silly Stag. And again, a lot of these stories are coming from H.J. Hardy's reader called a Latin Reader for the Lower Forms in Schools. If you want to check it out, you can go to my website. I have it all digitized so you can see it. So there's a lot of good stories in here. Some of them, like I've said, are historical. Some of them, like this one, have more like morals. They're sort of like, you might say like stories to teach a message, basically. So that's what this is doing, but it is a good variety of different things. And particularly if you're, if you're a Latin teacher like me, I like to use these in my class just to spice it up and give something different the kids have never seen before. If you're studying Latin and you're a student, this would be a good way to practice. It's a little bit older, so it looks slightly different, some of the forms, but in general, it's a good way to practice your Latin by reading kind of short stories that you've never seen before and you wouldn't find in a normal textbook. So again, I recommend that you take a look at it. For this one, before we dive too far in, on this series, I've been reading the stories aloud. So the first thing I'll do is I'll read you the entire story, then we'll pause the video, and I'll tell you that if you haven't done the work to translate it on your own, you should go and do that, right? So I'd recommend you write down any vocab you don't know, any grammar that's tripping you up, and this is what I always tell you to do, the read and reread method. So you want to read through it once, write down anything you don't know, go look all that up, and then go read it a second, third, fourth time, whatever it is, until you can read this story without needing to look up vocab or grammar. That's how you know you've really got it down. And it's a good way to practice your translation skills and sort of your reading comprehension skills as you go too. So that's where we're going to start. I'm going to read it to you now. And again, if you're just listening to it for the first time, go ahead and listen to it. But at some point, you want to pause it, go do the work, and then come back for your own translation. Okay? So let's dive in. Like I said, this one is about a stag, a deer. So it goes like this. You have cervus cum stiret ad fontem accessit, et suam in aqua imaginem conspiciens, cornuum magnitudinem laudavit, crura vero uti nimis exilia vituperavit. Ecce leo advene, quo viso cervus aufugit, ut ei nullum periculum immineret, donec in planetiae esse. Cum vero in silvam venisset, inter virgulta cornibus adhaesit, et a leone captus est, quod pedum celeritate uti non poterat. Tum moriturus, o me desipientem, inquit. Cui ea displicerant, quae me conservarunt, placerant autem quae me perdiderunt. Okay, so we're going to pause the video right there. Okay, and like I said, if you haven't read through it, go do that and then come back. But now we're going to translate it, or at least go through what the translation is. Okay, so you start with the cervus, the stag. So you're saying a stag, and again, in Hardy's version, he uses an older form of cum, Q-U-U-M, right? It's the same thing. So you can, it would show up as cum in a modern Latin textbook. So you have when he was thirsty, right? Stiret. So when he was thirsty, he approached a fountain, right? So he goes up to like a little fountain, a little spring, basically, and conspicuous, so seeing his own image, right, suam imaginem, in the water, in aqua, he laudavit, he praised the size of his horns, right, the size, the magnitudinem, the size of his antlers, okay? So he praised the antler size, but vituperavit, he blamed, right, or criticized, you might say, his legs, so crura, his legs, for being too thin, right? You have the uti nimis exilia, for being too thin is kind of one way to translate that. So the stag is looking and saying, wow, these antlers are awesome. I don't like my legs, is kind of the idea, okay? Then you have ecce leo advene. So then the lion approached, right? Look, a lion approaches or approached. Then you have the absolute, or the ablative absolute, you have quo viso. So with this having been seen, or having seen it, you might say, the cervus aufugit, the deer fled, right? It runs away. So that, you have the purpose clause here, so that no harm, right, nullum periculum, or no danger might threaten him, right, immineret ei, might be threatening to him or might threaten him. So basically he's running away from the danger, right, so that no danger might threaten him until he was on the plain, right, in planetiae. So, and again, the plain here means like kind of out of the water area and somewhere where he could run fast, right, on the plain, okay? Then you have cumero. So again, cum here, Q-U-U-M is really C-U-M, right? Cum in a modern textbook. So you're saying when sort of truly he'd come into the woods, right? So he had come into the woods. You have venisset, the subjunctive there. Okay, so when he come into the woods, he's stuck, right? Adhaesit means to like stick or get caught in something. So he's caught in the bushes, right? Cornibus. So he's caught in the virgulta. He's in the brush, I guess you might say, by his horns or by his antlers, cornibus. Sorry. So he gets stuck. Okay. And a leone captus est, he was captured by the lion. Okay, so he gets stuck in the brush and he gets captured by the lion, right? The lion's obviously going to eat him. And it says he's captured because he was not able to use sort of his celeritate, right? That swiftness of foot, right? His speed is the idea, right? So he wasn't able to escape the lion. Then you end with this. You have two moriturus, right? You have the future participle. So he's saying, then about to die, right? He said, oh, sort of foolish me, right? Me disipientem, okay? Me, to whom or for whom these things displeased, right? Meaning, so these things were displeasing to me, right? Woe is me, as he's kind of saying. These things which me conservara, which saved me, okay? So it's saying these things that were displeasing to me, but they were actually kind of saving me, right? He's talking about his legs. So he's saying originally I didn't like my legs, but these things would have saved me, right? So that's what he displicarent, right? Those things were displeasing, which saved me. However, instead, you might say, but instead, those things that were pleasing to me, which destroyed me, right? Perdideron. So he's saying, woe is me, right? It's a sad me, me discipiente. He's saying because I basically didn't like the things which saved me, but I was pleased by her. The things that were destroying me were pleasing to me. Okay, so this is sort of a parable, you might say. He's saying I love my antlers, and they ended up killing me. I hated my legs, and those are the things that were going to save me. Okay, so it's just a fun little story to kind of get in there and see something different. Again, the stag, right? The silly stag is the name of the story, but it's something different. There's some good grammar in here to kind of help you through. And again, it's just something different that you've probably never seen before, and it's a good chance to practice your Latin and do something new. So again, if you have any questions at all or comments about it, feel free to put it in the comments below. I'll help you however I can. But otherwise, I'll leave it to you. Take this as an opportunity to read something different, and hopefully, after a few reads through, it's something that you can understand pretty well. Good luck.